It's June 16th, 2018, and France is playing Australia in the group stage of the World Cup in Russia. The game is scoreless and pretty unremarkable, until Antoine Griezmann goes down in the box. Here's what happened. Griezmann gets through on goal, and Australian defender Joshua Risdon comes across and makes contact, sending Griezmann to the deck. The Uruguayan referee Andres Cunha waves play on and signals no penalty, so the game keeps going. Then his earpiece lights up. He stops play, jogs over to the monitor on the side of the pitch, watches the replay for about 30 seconds, and reverses himself. Penalty France. Griezmann steps up and buries it, and France goes on to win the match, and eventually the entire tournament. That moment is the first time in World Cup history that a video review changed a referee's decision on the field. And it only happens because 2 months earlier, FIFA finally signed off on bringing VAR to the biggest tournament on the planet. And it's one piece of a much bigger story. The World Cup looks almost nothing like it did 30 years ago. Back passes are illegal, substitutions have multiplied, technology calls offsides, and goalkeepers can't stall the way that they used to. As of this summer in 2026, there's a whole new wave of rules dropping on top of all of that. Here's every relevant World Cup rule change, why it happened, and what it actually meant for the game. Let's start with the one that genuinely reinvented soccer. Before 1992, a goalkeeper could pick up any pass from his own teammate, which sounds harmless but absolutely was not. Look at the 1990 World Cup in Italy, which averaged 2.21 goals per game and is still the lowest scoring World Cup ever. Teams had figured out the cheat code. Go up 1-0, then for the next 80 minutes just pass the ball back to your goalkeeper, who picks it up, bounces it, walks around, and eventually punts it back into play. Rinse, wash, and repeat. Sometimes goalkeepers held the ball for over 6 minutes total in a single match. It was unwatchable. FIFA had seen enough, so in 1992 they amended Law 12 to add what we now call the back pass rule. If a defender deliberately kicks the ball to his own goalkeeper, the keeper can't pick it up with his hands, and if he does anyway, the other team gets an indirect free kick from the spot. In 1997, they extended it to throw-ins as well. This changed everything. Goalkeepers suddenly had to play with their feet, defenders had to actually keep the ball under pressure, and time wasting got a whole lot harder. Over the next 30 years, the position evolved into what we have now. Manuel Neuer types who basically play as a sweeper. None of that exists without the 1990 World Cup being too boring to bear. Next we have changes to the extra time and penalties. For decades, if a knockout match was tied after 90 minutes, you played 30 minutes of extra time and whoever was ahead at the end won. Tied again, you go to a penalty shootout, which was introduced at the World Cup level in 1978 after years of replays and coin flips deciding things. The first World Cup match actually decided on penalties was in 1982. Then in the 1990s, FIFA tried to spice up extra time with the golden goal, where the first team to score in extra time wins and the game ends right there. It was meant to encourage attacking soccer because if you scored, you won immediately. In practice, it did the exact opposite. Teams played terrified. Nobody wanted to be the one that gave up the golden goal. And extra time became 30 minutes of two teams refusing to attack each other. France vs. Paraguay in 1998 was the first World Cup golden goal. Laurent Blanc, round of 16, and France went on to win the whole thing. Then in 2002, they tried the silver goal, which gave the win to whoever was ahead at halftime of extra time. That lasted about 10 minutes in football years. By 2004, both were gone, and the format went back to the full 30 minutes of extra time, and then penalties if needed. That's still where we are today. Moving on, we have substitutions. From 1930 to 1954, you played the World Cup with the 11 guys who started the game. If somebody got hurt, tough luck, you played with 10. Switzerland in 54 finally allowed one substitution for injury. The US 94 World Cup bumped it to 2, plus a goalkeeper if he got hurt. France in 98 set the standard at 3 subs, no questions asked, and there it stayed for almost 25 years. Then COVID happened. With the schedule jammed and players gassed, FIFA temporarily allowed 5 subs in 2020. Players liked it, coaches liked it, and by the 2022 Qatar World Cup, FIFA made it permanent at 5 substitutions per match. using up to 3 windows so you can't keep stopping the game. Extra time gives you 1 additional sub on top of that, and the same rule applies for 2026. Now we have VAR. Frank Lampard's ghost goal against Germany in 2010 might be the most important non-goal in World Cup history. He smashed it off the crossbar, the ball clearly bounced well over the line, and the referee waved play on. Germany went on to win 4-1. FIFA spent the next 8 years figuring out video review. They officially approved VAR for the 2018 World Cup in March of that year, just 3 months before kickoff, and it debuted at the France-Australia game we opened with. VAR can intervene in 4 situations only: goals, penalties, red cards, and mistaken identity. The referee on the field still has the final call. VAR just flags clear and obvious errors. By the end of the 2018 group stages, 335 incidents had been reviewed, and penalties spiked accordingly. The 2018 tournament set a new World Cup record with 29 penalties awarded. Then at Qatar 2022, FIFA pushed it further with semi-automated offside. 12 cameras tracking 29 data points on each player, plus a sensor inside the ball. The system generates a 3D animation within seconds, and the offside call essentially makes itself, which cuts review time roughly in half. Has VAR fixed soccer? Well, it depends who you ask. Decisions are more accurate, but they're also slower, more disruptive, and somehow still controversial. The handball rule alone has caused more arguments since VAR than it did in the previous 50 years combined. But it's not going anywhere. Every World Cup since 2018 has used it, and every World Cup going forward will. We're past that debate. Then we'll talk goal line technology. Same Lampard moment, different solution. Goal line technology made its World Cup debut in Brazil 2014, with 7 cameras per goal tracking the ball, and if it crosses the line, the referee's watch buzzes within 1 second. It's been quiet ever since, which is exactly the point. France's second goal against Honduras in 2014, a Karim Benzema shot that came off the post and ricocheted in off the goalkeeper for an own goal, was the first goal in World Cup history confirmed by the technology. Since then, it just sits in the background and does its job. No more arguments about whether the ball crossed. Either it did or it didn't. Now we get to this summer. Going into the US-Canada-Mexico World Cup, the IFAB and FIFA have rolled out a fresh package of rules focused on one thing: time wasting. The Premier League season was a rough one for stalling tactics, and FIFA wants none of that bleeding into the tournament. Goalkeepers now have 8 seconds to release the ball, and if they hold it longer than that, the opposing team gets a corner. That's a serious penalty for what used to be a casual move. No more Schmeichel-style bouncing the ball around the box for 20 seconds. Throw-ins get a 5-second timer too. If a player is drying off the ball with a towel and stalling, the referee initiates a visual countdown, and if it's not thrown in by 0, possession flips to the other team. Goal kicks work the same way. Exceed the count, and the opponent gets a corner. Substitutions get tighter as well. The player coming off has 10 seconds to leave the field, and if he takes longer, the replacement has to wait 1 full minute on the touchline before entering, leaving his team a man down in the meantime. That's harsh, but it's designed to stop the slow walk to the touchline that we've all watched 10,000 times. Only the captain can approach the referee now. Other players who surround the official to argue a call risk a yellow card. This one's been creeping into European leagues for a while, but now it's officially a World Cup rule. VAR scope has been expanded too. For the first time, video review can overturn second yellow cards that lead to a red. Previously, 2 yellow ejections were untouchable. VAR can also fix mistaken identity bookings, and, in certain cases, correctly award a corner kick that was originally given the wrong way. And lastly, we'll take a look at what hasn't changed. For all the tweaks, some things have stubbornly stayed the same. Offside is still offside, even if how it's called has been completely overhauled. Penalty kicks are still 12 yards out. The field dimensions, the size of the goals, the basic shape of the game, none of that has moved. The handball rule keeps getting reworded, but never quite settled, and offside has been clarified maybe a dozen times in 30 years, and people still argue about every close call. The point is, the structure of soccer is essentially untouchable. The conversation around World Cup rule changes is almost entirely about pace, fairness, and replay, not the fundamentals of the game itself. Look at this list and a pattern jumps out. Every single one of these changes, back pass, golden goal, VAR, goal line tech, the 2026 stalling rules, was a response to some moment of frustration. Italy 1990 was too boring, Lampard's goal was clearly in, Griezmann clearly got fouled, players were clearly stalling. That's how soccer evolves. Slowly, reluctantly, and almost always in response to a specific incident that made the whole world watching go, this can't keep happening. It takes years sometimes, but eventually FIFA gets there. And this summer, with the biggest World Cup ever, 48 teams, 3 host countries, 104 matches, we're about to see the latest round of those fixes hit the pitch in real time. Whether they work is another conversation. But one thing's for sure, the game we watch in 2026 is going to look different than the one we watched in 2022, and that's pretty much the entire story of the World Cup.